Hello, I'm about to do a tutorial on drawing Starscream's face from Generation 1. Just doing a few checks on here to make sure that I'm streaming, I've got sound, everything of that nature. Believe we are good. Alright. I'm currently using an animation software. It's just a lot easier to change layers on here and it works pretty quickly. So let me just open a new folder here and get started. Right, not unlike drawing faces in general. No, really I can actually use this one. Not unlike drawing faces in general. I'll stick with the new one. Let's start off with kind of a rough... Well, with human face you'd be thinking oval. Starscream I'll think a little bit more circle. I think because he has what would look like a helmet to... it's kind of like a person wearing a helmet. With fin things on the side and all that other... So yeah, I think a circle might be a better option or a better route to go for this. Cut it in half down the middle. Cut it in half again. His proportions aren't exactly the same as human proportions. So this middle line, that is the eye line, but it's a little bit below the eye line. So let's cut again for the nose and for the mouth. So this part's going to be pretty similar to how humans are drawn. Now between these two areas, let's cut it in half again and do the same on this side. Gonna zoom in just a little bit. Let's do that one more time. A cut between here and here, and a cut between here and here. Now Starscream's eyes aren't they're 2 foot hexagons. Let's start off with a hexagon shape over here. Now it is difficult to show facial expressions with him because he doesn't have eyeballs or pupils, but it is possible. But we'll worry about that a little bit later on. So here to here. It's got about an eye width and about a quarter before the other one starts. Other eye is going to be right here, just about. So we'll just repeat that. Tell you what, let's make another horizontal line across the top of this eye over to the other side, just for a little bit of a guidance on where the other eye is going to go. Yeah, that should work. Finish off the hexagon, kind of eyeball it, there to there, here to here. Yeah, that should work. So similar to human proportions, but again not identical. Now the bridge of his nose, I may have made that gap just a little bit too. I'll tell you what, let's work with this for now. I think that it would work better if the bridge is a little bit smaller, but let's narrow it. The nose width, nose is going to go down to here. Let's just narrow the nose width and have the rest of it kind of, I'll just fake my way through that part. Here to here and here to here. It's about halfway between the eyes and the center line. Now from the top of there to this, let's draw a line for the bridge. I think it would work better if the eyes were a little bit closer. Let me see how I did it on that last drawing. No, let's see where this goes. Let's keep going. Since it's a front view, the nose angles down on either side. We'll have a pentagon. Say two. Is it a pentagon? No, it's really a parallelogram. It has four sides. No, rhombus. What do you got? Trapezoid. Yeah, I think it's a trapezoid at the bottom. Kind of a squashed square or some such. The mouth, he usually has any such form of a parallelogram, any four-sided shape. Sometimes he'll smile, sometimes he'll have lips. I'll just make him frowning a little bit. As if he had lips, even though I know he doesn't and can't because he's a robot. And a lower lip as well. Now as far as what goes here between here and the top of the head, you got to use his eyes to figure out where the line goes. So between here, this is kind of like a visor, really small visor. Doesn't hardly protect from anything as far as light's concerned, but a little bit of a visor, and draw it up top there. Just small little cover, like a mini cap if such a thing existed. Now from here we want this area to be the start of where the top part of his helmet goes. Let's connect a line from his nose to here. And from here, not straight up, just kind of angled back just a tiny bit. So a little angle back here. And let this side follow that same angle to the same spot. So we've got kind of a slanting helmet thing on this side. Do the exact same on the other side. So we've got a spot here, connect that from the nose area, draw up to here. So we've got this part of his helmet going, connect it to that end piece. Now in the middle, there'll be a slightly lower part of the helmet. So not too much lower, just a tad. So these both are protruding just a little bit. And in this middle part, we've got really, I don't know what it is, but about halfway down. So kind of mark the halfway line. And then not halfway from here to here, but let's say a quarter way. Make a quarter way line too. Now from this quarter way line to the top, make a diagonal to up here, and do an equal size one on the other side. Now it's got a little bit of an opening. Just part of the character design. Just darken this part of the half line and draw it to the top. The same angle as you have here. Try to keep the same angle of the line as you have there. Same thing on this side. You're going to have all kinds of loopy lines going everywhere. Now for the top, you've got this angle here. It really, what we'd be doing is there's a vanishing point between here and here. And this line needs to have the same vanishing point, so we need a line like that. So I'm going to erase that and just do it in black pen. An angle like this, and same thing on this side. This one has a vanishing point here, and this one has the same vanishing point. So we got that area done. Starscream's face shape, it really does change from show to show and episode to episode, really even. But the one I find to be the most common is kind of a flat looking one with a pointed chin. So about at the nose level, draw a rectangle on the left from the nose to a little bit below his chin. Not below, I guess right about at his chin. On the right side, do the same thing from the nose down to the chin. Now from the eye, bring an angle slightly back, then straight down. Then, about from the chin, a little bit above the chin, angle it towards the center. And let's say the center we want the curve to end at the bottom of this eye, like a straight line between here to the bottom of the chin. That's where this line should curve down to. Because he does have a narrow chin, pretty much universally. In fact, if you watch those, I'm going to do the same thing on this side, newer Transformers shows, Transformers Animated, Transformers Prime, they're more concerned about the shape theory and shape harmony and the character designs, and they want them all to look different. And so they exaggerate what exists already. And what's noticeable about Starscream is he's got a very long chin. So it doesn't look like much in the original Transformers, but they really push that chin aspect and run with it in Transformers Prime and Transformers Animated. In fact, I think really just Transformers Animated. I can't really remember Transformers Prime, how much they did with that. Just bring a line down from here and connect it to that block that you'd drawn prior. And from the chin, draw a trapezoid below it. And follow the cheek down with an angle to the chin on either side. Let's bring this down just a tad. I wanted to go to the bottom of the chin, but I made the chin longer, so I need to make this part longer. And of course we'll have the neck. Now those little fins at the side of his head. Draw this trapezoid rhombus, and I think it's a trapezoid. Yeah, I do remember. It was a trapezoid. Trapezoid shape on either side of his head. Now make a smaller version inside of that. And again. And now on how to divide the lines on these fin propeller things. First draw a line down the middle. Then draw one line between that, up above it, one line between below it. Then just draw lines between what's left. So, line in the middle, line above the middle line, line below the middle line, line below the middle line, and just everything that's left, draw one line between those, and you should have what's there. Now some artists or episodes have gone through on Starscream and really darkened this area above his eyes. I really just used a lot of black ink or marker around the top of his eyes and a bit around the side of his eyes. And in doing so, it makes him look more like Megatron, because that's what, though the dark eyes are what I kind of affiliate with Megatron. I guess some of them maybe want to make him look a little bit more evil or more treacherous, and they can do that, but it's not in all the designs. But above his eyes are going to be a shadow anyway, so either way you want to do that. You can darken the top, or you can leave it as it is, and it's going to be it'll be alright. Just clean up a little bit. I don't know how necessary it is to clean it up. Just a few things, I think. So you've got one streamer. Any questions you have, you can feel welcome to ask them. I am looking at the chat. Alright, now let's take a look at Starscream's side view. And one thing I should mention about his side view, there really isn't a definitive setup side view for him. I've found it to keep changing, like a lot. So what I ended up doing, I wanted to keep the G1 style, but at the same time I really had to kind of derive a side view that I thought worked, because every side view I've seen on him doesn't really make sense when put up next to the front view. Like from the side view, he's going to have his chin's going to look different compared to the front view, or his nose is going to look different compared to the front view. Well, this is the same character design, so why do features get longer and shorter when the angle changes? And I know that it's an old show and things are not always consistent, color mistakes and stuff, but I'm not talking about one random color mistake. I'm talking about I couldn't find really any pictures of him side view. And part of that is made difficult because he has those two things on his shoulders. Those things on his shoulders, they usually, if there's any side view to be had, they're going to cover his face. So it's hard to find a side view of him at all. And the comic book side views, they exist, but they're so stylized, they're really closer to the Transformers animated styles than they are to the G, well, they're not closer, but they stylized it enough and used shapes enough to where it doesn't really look like the G1 version. So this is my take on trying to keep the G1 model, but do a side view that matches the front view. So you draw a circle, cut it in quarters, same as you would before, but with side views on humans, you bring this line on one side a little bit down, it's going to be the chin. Not going to bring it too low and just kind of curve a line out to meet that line we did for the chin. Then for his little eye cap thing, I don't know, we didn't pick a name for it. Excuse me. An angle forward a little bit. This is the helmet. This is his head. We're going to have a little bit more. Even with the human skull, we've got the forehead that sticks out, and it's not gonna fit in a perfect circle. So you're gonna have this small area that sticks out, even when drawing humans. All right. I think we've got our stencil laid out then. And let's zoom in a bit. I'm going to keep the other one in the picture so we can kind of refer to it and make sure, and so I can explain what changes are being made. Now, if we're drawing a human, the side view for the eye, okay, this is the bridge of the nose here. Side view for the eye would look like this. You have kind of the eye this way, and that number there, and then it would followed by the cheek. But the way they've been showing it on cartoons, they show this view and they just draw a complete hexagon, and that can't be a hexagon, because from that angle you're not going to see a hexagon. So I think it would be best to kind of use more of what the human eye looks like, and kind of make it more angled or something like that. So this deal here, angle forward, angle back. So it looks kind of like a triangle with a pointed bottom piece, if you call it a, I don't know. You know, let's just curve it. Make it look like a human eye. If he's gonna have lips, I think that he can get away with having an eye. Just the way they're doing it doesn't make sense. If you know that his eyes look like this from the front, they're not gonna look the same way from the side. It just didn't make sense. Now his cheeks look like they're flat here. But in order to put the nose, we need to have a slight curve for it. Not much, just a slight curve. Just that they didn't give me much to work with, so I had to derive a few things from regular drawing rules. The nose is still going to be halfway, so down to here is where the nose is going to come down to. This is the bridge, so halfway through here, let's bring the nose out and curve it in. Just draw a line there. We've got Starscream's nose. Now everything else, well, no, we're not done yet. Hold on. From here, see this part of the helmet that covers on his face, it's right about level with the top of the nose. We'll angle it back to here. That might be too far. Let me see how it looks. His area above his eye, that little visor piece. Let's say we bring it back to, yeah, about halfway between this center line and the outside. Let's have that where this goes. That feels about right. It angles up over here too. So we got that. We'll just draw him having a helmet first of all. We'll worry about the details on that helmet a little bit afterwards. He's got a helmet, goes straight down in the back. Yeah, it doesn't really look too different from what Megatron has when you take it down to the bare essentials. You don't need these guidelines anymore. Take those out, take these out, kind of clean as you go. OMAC 101. Alright. Now we know that there are these two vertical square things over his eyes. So let's deal with those. We just draw in this bridge, not bridge, but eye cap thing. From here to the back. Now from the side view it's going to look a little bit different. It's essentially the same thing, but it'll look a little bit different. Let's say this side's going to be the same. Goes up, angles back, forms that rectangle, and then comes down over here. Now what is going to change is that this kind of leads back down the side of his head, across the top. Optimus Prime kind of has something like this too. Alright, let's do the face and we'll worry about these things on the side of his head afterwards. Alright, we do know that the eye still has that cheek line. I don't feel that's going to change very much from the side. You can see his cheek from the side still. Comes out here. Let's not make it go straight. Let's let it kind of curve a little bit to follow the chin. So it starts curving about at the nose. From the nose down, let's kind of curve it towards the chin. We'll have the chin come in from here too. Here to here. Starscream's mouth. We'll just draw them the same as you would human lips. The front lip is forward, the bottom lip is back. Then we have the chin. It's too long here, I'm going to shorten it right away. Okay, chin is shortened, but now the helmet thing is too long, so You know, that might have worked, actually. Let me leave that as it is. And before, without too much waiting, I will do those things on the side of his head. It's looking like somebody totally different, like Astro Train or something, without those. I mean, that's what makes him Starscream, I guess. Alright, so we'll start it over here. Bring it straight down. Still going to form that trapezoid shape. So a little unsure how this was going to go, because if it was a perfect side view, I don't know if we would see these. But most of the references I'd seen were showing that you would show them, and kind of for establishing the character, I think that as long as I'm doing stills like this, I think it'd be better to show them anyway. I want it to be clear who it is. Halfway above, halfway below, and halfway between everything that's left. It's funny, I'd actually been shown I seen a tutorial on how to draw the spine, and it had a similar division to that on, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, one of the parts. None of them had 8, I don't think. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. So we got this part here. Got the bottom covered here. I'm just going to trim this part on the helmet. I think it'd be stronger if it wasn't quite so long. So just take this bit off the bottom. Now I got some kind of a Starscream side view. Let me do another one. Another angle of him, just because. Well, I think we kind of get the idea. It's basically a matter of using your knowledge of human proportions and angles and such to put them together to draw transformers. And I don't think that is more true with anything other than drawing the hands. Like their hands, there's nothing really unique about them as far as being robotic or anything. They got a few lines, a few circles, but they have all the digits are the same, everything moves the same. I drew an oval instead of a circle, didn't I? Now I'll make it work. Alright. Gonna make the eyes a little bit closer this time than before. There is a style of making Starscream look angrier or more sinister by drawing his eyes as an upside down trapezoid. But if you do that, I wouldn't make this line above the eyes angle upwards. I have it angled downwards. Angled upwards, it kind of gives a different archetype of a character. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if I like this actually. Let me just keep it as it was. Yeah. Well, you've got the floor, one viewer person. So, if there's anything you want to see, feel free to mention or comment. I'll just draw one more Starscream, then I'm gonna get offline. I've been enjoying Clip Studio Paint. It's definitely not intuitive, but once you know the tools, it seems like it can do the job. I never did learn how to color on it, though. But it seems like it has some really good coloring options. I just never learned how to do that. When it gets to a point, I may start coloring a few of these things. Yeah, almost wrapping this up. Those things on the side of his head really are what define him, I guess. Without them, I mean, that's what really ties all the styles of Starscreams and comics and shows together, is just the way that those side of his head things look. That and him turning into a jet and being a traitor. Kind of think of it, I don't recall if he had these ear things on the Michael Bay Transformers. If he doesn't, that just lets you know a little bit more about why it didn't feel like the same character. But I really don't think that it did have. I don't think that he had those in those. Clean up this cheek a little bit, make it not look like he's got extra lines on his face or anything in his mouth. You know what, I will darken the eyes that Megatron style. Alright, so we got a few Starscream drawings. If I may consider animating a little bit on them. Once I'm still going through the training for animation right now, so I'm not trying to do too much. I want to get as much done as possible in one thing before worrying about getting started on another thing. Which is actually where I've been most of this time. I've been doing animation training, and I don't have too much further in the basics library. As soon as I'm through with that, I'll be able to start producing some stuff. Alright, thank you for watching. Signing out.